grappling fans, from body slams to high-flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down in every match with tales and fights that you can't catch. The Marks Podcast is the place to be for every wrestling mystery.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers, and you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
YouTube. It's Sunday. I know what that means. It's an episode of the Marks Podcast. I am Dan. You all know Gerard, and of course Jacob. You know, and last week something happened. We kind of touched on it, and I didn't realize the gravity of it until later on. I think, Jacob, you were on a podcast on Thursday, and they talked about the passing of Sabu.
Yep.
Now,
it was on the Rant Rave podcast.
I saw some people on there, and they talked about the way they talked about Sabu, and it was really nice and what have you, but I don't think I don't think I really acknowledged how much Sabu meant as far as this channel, as far as just in general, as far as a wrestling guy. Someone who I'll be honest, when I saw him as a kid, I was terrified of him. I used to tape trade. He was the reason I thought ECW was cool as shit. He was, for me, ECW. And you're talking to a guy here who was a big Raven guy. I was a big Raven fan. But for the first time I saw him, he was covered in yellow chains. He was on a fucking dolly and wearing a Hannibal Lecter mask. And it was probably the cheesiest thing I'd ever seen, but it worked because it was him. And would that have worked with anybody else? Probably not. I mean, he was covered in scars. He looked literally like a madman. And I can tell you, watching him do his Atomic Arabian Face Buster, what he would do when he would jump on a chair, jump to the top rope, and then backflip or flip into the crowd. There was nothing like the guy. He was the biggest thing that bothers me is you got someone like Joey Janela. And I feel bad for Joey because I truly believe Joey was his friend. And he's getting all this backlash because of an interview he did 2 days after the match, not knowing that his friend was going to pass away. And Gerard, you and I talked about this. We have been talking about it because this is your first real experience in the last couple of years with the IWC, the internet wrestling community. And how they tend to just run with the story. They don't have all the facts yet. No one does. Even people that are close to the situation don't have all the facts yet. But again, it goes back to that thing we always talk about, the court of public opinion, and everybody's doing X, Y, and Z, but we don't have all the facts.
Before we came on, I actually happened to look at the GoFundMe page right now for Sabu. $53,000. And I say that's great that they've been able to raise $53,000 for this man just for his funeral expenses. Okay. The sad part is,
where were they when he was alive?
Why did you have to raise money for this man's funeral expenses? You have all these guys in the wrestling world. Not one of the people that he helped make a shit ton of money for.
And we're not talking like chump change. We're talking millions of dollars.
Not one of those people could step up and offer to say, I got him covered. Think about that one. Raise all the money you want in GoFundMe, but not one of his brethren could step up and say, for the amount of money you helped make me, for the amount of money you helped make that company.
Well, okay, you just said it right there, though. We talked about earlier this week, you and I. You have a guy in Sabu who was in ECW. He was in FMW. He was in New Japan. He was in TNA. And damn it, he was in ECW, AEW. And you're telling me that none of these companies, with their vast fortunes that they have, couldn't have said, Terry, we know you're in a bad way. We know you're hurting. You're hurting because you spent your life entertaining the fans that watch our product. We're going to take care of you.
The epitome of putting life and limb on the line for the business. He was the epitome of it.
I'm just surprised he wasn't under a Legends deal with WWE. That's just.
Well, and I'm sure. He said some very outlandish shit. Some of it I agree with it, some of it I don't. But the man,
Was he part of the lawsuits?
Huh?
Was he part of the lawsuits? The concussion lawsuits and stuff like that?
I don't believe so.
I mean, the way he did his stuff in the ring to be part of that, I couldn't see how he could be part of it. But still, to not have that, and to me, a week later, I think you can see people right now trying to make a buck off his death, which if you're trying to make a buck off his death, you're pathetic.
Yeah. He was part of the lawsuit.
Nah, that sucks.
But I'm saying is, if you're trying to make a buck off his death now, where were you before he died? Why couldn't you have helped that man then?
Well, what kills me is all these stars that were built and that they do what they do because of watching him. Maybe directly or indirectly, how much that man has influenced the business itself as far as high flying, character work, anything. And he literally died, and he should have been a millionaire.
Yep.
When you have guys like Taz breaking character to thank the man for making him who he was or is today. Rob Van Dam has said it. When you hear some of these people come out and say, hey, if it wasn't for him, our company might not have taken off. But because of the way he threw around his body for ECW and stuff like that, that revolution of ECW took off.
He was their first guy. He was the guy.
Yep. Well, and it's really just unfortunate that now the story is that has come out with the GCW situation and the whole fucking Kratom debacle where everyone thinks that fucking Kratom killed him. Yeah, it's just sad that that's become the story now, not of what Sabu did in the ring, of what his legacy is. The whole story this week was, GCW and Joey Janela need to be charged with manslaughter and shit. It was what the fuck, man?
Well, and that's the thing. It wasn't Joey that gave him the kratom. It was, again, his people.
Yeah.
His people knew that his feet were bleeding. His people knew that he couldn't move. His people are the ones that gave him that injection.
Well, and it's just, again, Kratom's a legal substance. You can buy it at any smoke shop. It helps people get off opioids and fucking, help them stop drinking and shit like that. But
no,
if we're being honest here, if we're being honest, though, and I'm speculating, pure speculation on my part, I don't think he was just on Kratom, though. That's just me saying that. I'm going to leave it at that. I think they're a little bit saving face by saying it was Kratom. That's just me putting my tinfoil hat on. But I don't know. This is the one and the only times I can defend Joey Janela in this situation because it really Sabu got in the ring. Sabu didn't have to get in the ring if he didn't want to, and it was. I don't think he intentionally threw. Well, I mean, he did intentionally throw Sabu to the floor, but it's he didn't intentionally knock Sabu out. If that makes any sense. And that match shouldn't have happened to begin with. And it's just, it's a slippery slope, as they say.
If you watch that match, and this is not me trying to make speculation, but I'll say that as an observer of that things that happened in that match, from the barbed wire spot to him coming out of the ring, him smacking his face in that concrete, he wrestled like a 20-year-old man in a 50-year-old man, 60-year-old man's body.
Yep.
And I thought, the thought came to me, and watching that, is he trying to end it here? Is he trying to end it in the ring? Because that's the way he wrestled. But then, that's a dangerous line of thinking, because when he wrestled, that's how he wrestled. You never got anything less. So,
well, and it wasn't like he did that match and he's been out, he disappeared and then he just dropped dead. Like he did a podcast the night of the match.
Yeah, and then he also was out there doing autograph signings. They said he was nothing but joyful and happy.
Yeah, he was chilling, during that. If you watch that podcast, I mean, it's a little, it's a little sad now in retrospect. Even the Dark Side of the Ring episode that just came out on the Sheik, man, that was fucking hard to watch. But, yeah, no, it's just, this was a guy where, he's done a lot in and out of the ring. And, I just think he was already kind of near the end at this point. And I think he probably knew that. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but,
but that's the problem.
Would you guys say that, unlike all other professional sports, nobody in professional wrestling today should be wrestling into their 60s because they're
unless
broke?
you're PCO. I mean, I
No,
don't know.
Because you're broke?
Oh, absolutely. Now, okay. I'm sure the argument's going to be like, well, he should have been more. Maybe he should have been better with his money. I don't know.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man. That's all I gotta say with that. But sorry, I gotta make light of situations. But no, it's unfortunate that, again, like I said, the problem is now the issue now is what GCW and Joey Janela did to Sabu, and it's just shut the fuck up.
So, Gerard, you brought something up right there, and it goes into what we're supposed to talk about tonight. I don't know, we went on a little bit of a tangent with the Sabu stuff. I mean, it's age and wrestling. What's going on, Lynn? So there's been a bit of a double standard recently. And it's like it hasn't been there. We just, not a lot of people talk about it. Is there a double standard between women and men as far as the age of a wrestler as a man or a woman?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And, we can go back to the part I was just talking to the person we were talking about before, where the internet thing about yesterday. Somebody like a Natty Neidhart. She's 42 years old. How much of that looks real?
As far as what?
Her body itself. Charlotte Flair. What's she? 38? She's had a lot of nip and tucks, and she's at 38 years old.
Oh, but is that okay? Is that what you're talking about? Start keeping longevity, or is that a personal choice?
Could it be because they don't want to? And listen, Trish Stratus, we all grew up with, Jacob, we grew up with. And from her, if you look at her from her neck down, nothing's changed. But her face, it's changed a lot. Where you just had a guy like Sting retiring, 63, 64 years old. The guy looked like he never aged a bit. I mean, yeah, sure.
Makeup has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, his makeup and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm just saying is, I understand in this business, because of stress, women could look like they're aging quicker
But it's
than
not
men.
okay. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, For instance, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan. I'm just not. I've just never been. The whole man gimmick, all that. There's nothing about Becky Lynch.
Come on.
She's in her 30s.
Mhm.
It's usually a prime for a guy. And they're already saying maybe it's time for her to hang it up.
Yeah, I really think, she's really, she's no spring chicken anymore. And it's really, she really needs to hang up the boots. It's getting to me. Every time I see her out there, it's kind of like, hang it up, old lady. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. And honestly, this question, we really haven't seen, a women's wrestler really wrestle into like their 40s and 50s, other than in Japan, maybe. But like, there's a double standard, but like, Natty's a great wrestler still, and they just don't use her. That's the problem. It's like,
I want you.
They have her on NWA shows now.
If you'll pull up that tweet that Rhea Ripley put out. So here's right here.
Let me ask you this. I don't know how old. How old is Rhea?
Off the top of my head.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. She's like, she has to be like early 30s, right? Or 28.
She's 28.
28?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it says, women's wrestling fan. Women deserve better. In the same breath, she's sleeping with her boss to get where she is. She should retire. She doesn't deserve it. She's handed everything and never worked for anything.
Mercedes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I hope she gets injured. You guys are the real reason it's so difficult to be taken seriously as a woman wrestler. If you put as much effort into your own miserable lives as you put into degrading successful women, then maybe you would accomplish something yourself.
Now, I will say one thing about that. The successful women part of it, a lot of them are successful just because that's what a company puts them. Listen, like I've said before, I could put 20,000 women into an arena, and if I can get 10 of them to perform at the grade A level,
yeah,
I'd be a happy guy. Now, with that being said, 20,000 men into an arena, if I could get 10 of them to perform at a high grade level, I'd be a happy guy. And the reason why I say this is you do not have to keep recycling your late 40s and early 50-year-old guys or your late 30s and 40-year-old women if the younger generation on the roster could carry the load.
Well, then it's fine. Again, WWE just got through letting go of a shit ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being Dakota Kai and a couple other people. And one of the key reasons were age. Dakota Kai is not even fucking 35.
Well, and then they literally just hired, Jeff Cobb, or I'm sorry, JC Mateo, for, and he's 40, what? Like how old, 44 or something?
Exactly.
Well, LA Knight's in his early 40s too.
Damian Priest is in his mid 40s too. It's like,
yeah, and that's all I'm saying is the draw for women. Now, mind you, to say this, when I think I've only seen 2 women get that far, and that would be Lita and Trish Stratus, close to 50 years old.
Lita is 50.
And all the other women, if you think about it, it's almost like once they reach 40, the downhill climb for them, it's like you get up over that hill. It's like, the guys, 3 years.
I'm not a fan of them bringing back Trish to fucking amplify fucking Tiffany Stratton. I don't think she needs it. But
I'm saying 3 years from now.
that was out of nowhere too.
My question is, 3 years from now, are we hearing from Charlotte Flair 3 years from now?
No, but I'm saying
I hope not.
You said there's a downhill decline. Trish looked fantastic in that match. She didn't miss a beat or anything.
Well, even when Lita came back a couple times, like Lita looked great too.
But I'm just saying, so are they the same women they were? No.
No, but it was,
let me ask you this. Randy Orton's 45, right?
Yeah.
Does he still move like a 25-year-old?
He doesn't move as a 25-year-old, but he's moving pretty damn good.
He moves pretty good. And all I'm saying
He's
is,
been the slow same Randy Orton for fucking.
I'm saying is, we see a lot of older guys still being able to move. The problem is the older women aspect of it. They either do two things: they retire, or they're just not used. But the older women, we haven't got that. We've only seen two. We've only seen two older women. I think Oscar might be like 41 too.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing enough of the older women to catch up with the men.
And I think it's too. This is.
That's it.
Women
We
have
need
got
Wendy
more of a
Richter to
chance.
come back.
Women have gotten more of a chance in the last couple of years, so we haven't had a chance to really see those veteran women. And I mean, the first one that comes to mind, of course, is Natalia.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She's been doing it for forever, but they just don't know where to put her. You can't put her at the top of the card. I mean, she's established that she can't really bury her. She'll always find a way to be there. I mean, yeah, like last week or so, they put her over there with the Alpha Academy. While Tozawa, she has nothing to do with any of that, but she's over there with Tozawa. Yeah, you're gonna go fight Rusev. It's just, and then recently she was in an NWA program.
Well, that's random in and of itself. I think that they're going the wrong way with this. I think they should put Tozawa and Natalia together on TV, make it a love angle, do it, like go full.
Okay, but why? Why does it always have to be a fucking love angle with a woman?
Because it'd be awesome. It's Tozawa.
Would you prefer it to be a love angle with a man?
Yeah, Billy and Chuck, man, come on. No, honestly, like, you know what? I would welcome that. Let's do a gay storyline. Come on, it's 2025. Like, why haven't they done that yet?
What? I'm glad you mentioned this. I'm glad you mentioned that, though, because you had a hell of a performer in Sonya Deville.
Got fired.
Yep. Well, again, like, I think they could really do something with this whole Trick Williams and Javon Evans storyline. They could switch it up really fast and just boom, have them become lovers. It would NXT's on the CW. Come on, man. They would live for this shit.
House of Gays and Cheeseburgers.
House of Gays and Cheeseburgers. Pretty funny, actually. All right, so I will be taking over the hosting duties going forward for the Marks podcast. Suggesting gay love angles aside, I think that age in wrestling, yeah, it is a double standard. Going back to the original conversation,
but it's bullshit. It's really dive into that. It is bullshit. Okay, because you have I like Karrion Kross.
Well, so does a lot of people apparently, but not, well, not the higher up.
So give me right now some of the older women talent that you could push to where you think they could be in that realm among the older men talent.
Jazz. Remember Jazz?
She's been doing it forever though. She's working for TNA now, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't know where Jazz is at. I'm probably the only person that's thought of her in a while. I don't know. I think and you really have to go through the roster at that point because they really right now who are they pushing right now? They're pushing Tiffany Stratton and they're pushing, now they got Julia on SmackDown. They got who else? Roxanne.
Guys, is it me or does Alexa Bliss seem old now?
I wouldn't say she seems old, but she's been there for a minute.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to you. Women are around 5 years. It seems like they've been there forever. You could have a guy who's been there for 20 years, like Randy Orton and John Cena. They don't seem like they've been there that long.
John Cena seems like he's been there forever.
John Cena's definitely felt like he's been there forever.
I just wanted to point that out there, brother. But
yeah. Well, it's just like, yeah, well, John Cena and Randy Orton have been on wrestling for as long as I've been alive. So it's like, yeah, I've definitely seen them way too much. But I don't know. As far as like, I think they're doing like something with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte now, which fucking god awful if they really go down that route. Because I really just don't want to see Charlotte anymore. But it's just like, I don't know. It is.
Oh, but is that based on personal opinion, or is that based on personal preference, or is that based on the fact because she can wrestle?
I mean, yes, and I just think she's annoying.
Okay, so it's one thing to not like someone because you're not a fan of their style, you're not a fan of them as a person.
In ring, though, I think she's had the match with Stratton at WrestleMania could have been a lot better, but it was better than I thought it was going to be. And I think Charlotte is good in the ring. I'm not denying that. It's just like, I just don't want her around.
See how you just say that though, okay? And
it's like how I feel about Seth Rollins. It's like she's in the same category as Seth Rollins. They just need to go away.
Having look and ability is two different things. Having look and ability is two totally different things. Ability-wise, who's better than Charlotte right now? Even Rhea, ability-wise, can she carry Charlotte? Close, but I don't think
I put Bianca up there in that category, but like she's not really like being used as far.
I would put Io up there. I'd say Julia.
Yeah, I'd say Io's up there too.
I think Roxanne Perez has the potential to be great. I think
potential, but I'm saying, are they up there with her right now? Because I'll tell you this right now, when it comes to when it comes to Charlotte, though, never mind just her in-ring skills. When she gets on a promo, I don't think right now there's anybody who can touch her on the promo skills to where it's like, okay, we're going to go have a battle on promos because that's one of the big things right now. If you can't sell yourself on a promo, how can you sell yourself in the ring kind of thing?
But see, Charlotte's usually known for fucking taking things and if you go back to what happened with her and Becky and dropping the belt and being cunty.
Charlotte gets triggered way too easily. We'll just say that.
But she knows how to cut a promo. This is the first time I've seen her get flustered, and that was because Tiffany brought up the whole fucking Andrade thing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, where's Andrade, man? What happened to that guy?
I don't think that don't get brought up without permission.
I don't know about that. That would the fucking if you watch that one live, the air kind of got sucked out of the room on that one
because of the delivery.
Well, everything.
They played Andrade and Kaiser. Kaiser's on my DMs. So when you go back and forth like that, not everybody is smart enough to know who's sleeping with who. All that good stuff. But when it comes to it, and I'll give you another one who's like that to where if looks made this person, she'd be the champion for 30 years. Jade Cargill. If looks...
Did you just fucking say Velveteen Dream?
No, I didn't. Sorry, it was my Tourette's.
At least you didn't say Chelsea Green. I'm just saying.
To be fair, Chelsea Green's killing
Chelsea Green fucking rules.
Listen, I'm just saying the fact of if looks alone got you in this business, Jade Cargill could be champion for the next 20 years. Okay. Problem is in-ring ability. And in-ring ability will get the fans to come around more than talking on a mic eventually. Io Sky. I don't care when she grabs a microphone. Okay. I don't understand Japanese. I never will understand Japanese. I'm not trying to understand Japanese. But when she's wrestling lately, I want to sit and watch that match.
Thank you.
I don't think that's fair. Jordan, I don't think that's fair because, look.
I think she worked harder because of who her father was.
Absolutely.
And because of David Flair too. We can't forget about the failure that was David Flair.
Wow. Jesus.
Hearing the story about how she came around to do it, I think Charlotte did it not only just because of her brother, and because of her. Listen,
I'm not talking about the
nobody
one that
has ever
died. I'm talking
complained-
about the one that failed in wrestling. I'm talking. You know?
I don't think anybody has ever complained about Ric Flair's work ethic.
He just had the same match every night. That's all.
But they never complained about his work ethic, okay? No. And what's the other thing? If he knew it was right for business, he had no problem losing if it was right for business.
Agreed.
Okay? And that's why he was able to be the jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, selling a gun to about 8 different wives and probably about 10,000 different ladies. Because he knew when he knew what check he needed to cash that night so he could pay some of these people.
Greatest family man that's ever lived, Ric Flair.
But I'm just saying is though, so I think in that sense, Charlotte had to work harder to get there because she didn't want to people saying about her, oh, you're only here because of your daddy. Okay? There's only one woman you can say that about. In all professional wrestling, you can only say that about one woman. And that's Stephanie. It's the only person you can come out and say you're here because of your daddy. If Stephanie's daddy isn't Stephanie's daddy, is Stephanie even in the business? Probably not.
But it was a family business. Like you can't. Okay, that's apples and oranges. We're talking about wrestlers. Look, if it was Steve and Shane instead of Stephanie and Shane, it would have been a whole different story. It's just he had a daughter. She loved the business.
Vince would still be in charge. It's like Vince would still be in charge if it was Steve and Shane.
I'm only saying is though, if Vince, when it comes to Stephanie can't wrestle worth a lick.
She wasn't trying to wrestle worth a lick. She was a character on the screen.
Former women's champion.
But don't you think she would have learned how to do it just because of the business, her father? Because I'll tell you what, if you watch Shane wrestle, Shane and Stephanie wrestling together, Shane would break his body for the business.
Okay, and that's his dumbass
world right there.
That's dumb as shit.
But I'm just saying is though. So don't give me that crap about.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pose that same question to you. You love the business, right, Gerard?
Yep.
Why aren't you wrestling?
Huh?
Why aren't you wrestling?
I like to protect my body.
But you love the business.
Yeah.
You don't love the business. You're not wrestling.
I just said listen. Just like you, I took bumps a couple of times and realized this is not my body. This is not what I want to do with my body.
Does it change how much you love the business?
Huh?
Does that change how much you love the business?
That I can't wrestle? No, not that I can't. That I won't do that? No.
Yeah. Okay. So what's to say that Stephanie can't love the business? Her father may be wrestling.
I'm not saying she can't love it. I'm just saying, is she in it without daddy? If her father wasn't who her father is, would she be in it?
No. Would you say it's a random chick named Stephanie would just be in the business because some guy?
What I'm saying is, she has not put in. I don't think the business part of it. I would not take away the business part of it. I'm saying is, though, to me, she didn't put the same effort into the in-ring part that her brother did.
Okay, they're two different people.
She never really needed to, though. It's like Shane.
She never. It didn't seem like she had a desire to.
And plus, like around that time when she was really like
exactly, I always agree with Jay, man. But that's the perfect fucking comment for that.
Yeah, that's true. But Shane, we're talking about the best in the world here.
Jesus!
No, hang on.
Yeah, he has a trophy to prove it.
Jacob's corner ain't no ordinary space. He rants and raves with that fire in his face. Every word a racket, shaking up the place. The whole block hears him setting his pace.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. No, I'm just kidding.
Jacob's corner where the truth ignites. No holding back, no silent nights. His rage cuts through the darker lights. Every line's a battle, every word a fight.
There was a point.
I think that was the best installment yet, guys.
That's getting clipped.
Oh, look at Jay the Man. Don't get me started with that.
And that's the best show Saudi ever did, all right? Shane McMahon was on top, and he beat Dolph Ziggler, and who else did he beat? Fucking Kurt Angle. And who else did he beat? Like 4 people in one night.
Well,
Did he beat Daniel Bryan too? It's like that's fucking.
Can we not? We cannot bring up the words beat people on this show. Day one, because we can't bring up the word beat because we were talking about women. Okay.
When did you become politically correct?
Politically incorrect.
Hold on. All the shit you say, the shit you said last couple of weeks, now you decided we can't say the word beat on this program because it's not politically correct.
Oh, no.
I love beets, the vegetable.
Sometimes it's a setup. Because there's the other part of the equation when we're talking about women in the business and stuff like that, to where let's talk about the other side of them that brings them down.
Why? What? Nothing's that bad ever happened to women in wrestling.
The at-home life. Where the man, it's like,
Oh, God, I know where we're going. Go on.
We all say, men are shallow, okay, and self-centered.
You're damn right we are.
Okay. Well, women aren't built that way. They're not shallow and self-centered, but men are.
Who are you fucking? Keep going. You know what? You're digging this hole. You know what? I'll see you in China.
What I'm trying to say to you is this. So when quality of life issues become effective, men could give a crap about the quality of life issues to put food on the table. Or on the other hand, women are like, I'm going to put the quality of life before putting food on the table. And guys, I get it. I understand it. I appreciate it. But in the wrestling world, would you say to some promoters, it's frowned upon? And that's why some women get where they are and don't get where they are, because they choose life's issues over business issues.
Elaborate, Mr. Millette. I know where you're going with this, but I want this audience to hear where you're going.
Do you believe promoters do not want I don't need a housewife here. I need a bad bitch here. Somebody who's going to put asses in the seats for me and not worry about this other side over here. I'm just asking you, all promoters aside, is that the reason why all women have been looked upon? Because sooner or later, promoters know quality of life is going to come to them quicker than it will be for a man. That's all I'm asking. So when Rhea Ripley does something like that, when she puts out those things, is it because promoters know, hey, I don't have to worry about my male stars getting pregnant. I don't have to worry about this for my male stars. I don't have to worry about this. Is that always in the back of some promoters' minds? That's all I'm asking. To where?
We'll take Paige, for example. Like, everyone wants her to come back to WWE, and it's like, are we forgetting that there are videos of fucking dudes busting nuts on her face with the title, with the NXT title on her? I'm just saying, like, there's shit like that, and it's like, I don't know. It is what it is, but also there's, let's go for the other side of that with Rhea Ripley even tweeting out, that's why women aren't taken seriously in wrestling. But Rhea Ripley, there's all these gifs of her, showing her ass and all this shit. It's like, and again, I'm the last person to complain about this because it's awesome. I love it. But the problem is like, you can't really play both sides in that sense by saying, oh, that's why women aren't taken seriously, but also there's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense? Probably not.
But what I'm getting at is, is there a double standard? Because if a guy could do the shit that they're doing, would they do it?
Hell no.
No. If a guy could get away, get more of a fan base by showing their ass.
Oh,
I would.
I thought you meant if we could get away from having babies. Hell no.
No, hold on. back to Gerard's comment about the whole baby thing. You think these women just control and say, you know what? I'm going to fuck it all up and I'm going to have a baby.
No, listen, it's not just that, though. Let's go back to the Lana thing when she had the program going with Dolph Ziggler. And she announced it on her Instagram.
That was stupid. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is that's not the same as someone getting pregnant.
No, I'm just saying is, though, I'm not putting it down.
I got to put it. You know what? They got this. Gerard,
I mean, there's also the other side where, like, Carmella got pregnant and she was on maternity leave for fucking, like, 2 years. It's like,
yeah, because she ended up getting sick and getting drop foot.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Never mind. I take back my statement.
Fucker.
And that's why I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to ask you.
I forgot about the sick thing, Dan. I'm sorry.
Is one of the things that promoters look at is the fact of I can't trust women to carry my company because I don't know when quality
Those damn baby machines, all they do is fuck up my company. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm only asking you, is that why women get that put because of the fact of promoters maybe not be able to trust them going into long-term stories?
So what? Would you like a celibacy clause in the contract? You can't take dick.
No, I'm asking you, do you think now in this 2025 now, because back in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, because of the internet, you didn't know about this stuff. You saw a woman wrestle leave, you never knew why she left. Have the internet, like we said, it killed kayfabe. Has the internet killed the behind the scenes for the women too? That's why they have to come out.
Yes, the internet killed. That's a given. But what I'm saying is, okay, sometimes people make conscious decisions. No different. Michelle McCool came out, and it was during her Hall of Fame induction. She was at the prime of her career. She could have done X, Y, and Z, but what did she do? She decided to go do something for her that was more important.
Yep. And
go be a mom. And more power to you. You know, there's one of the greatest gifts you could have is to be a mother, be a father, whatever it may be. Okay. But now you have Charlotte, who's basically ripping off her tit in the ring going, I don't have kids and I'm almost 40. Well, that was your fucking deal. You wanted to do this, this, and this. You had relationships that didn't work out.
What the fuck is that a threat, Jay, man?
Listen, and I'll put it like this. The one woman I could actually give credit for, because we've seen that girl since she was 1 year old. Jade Cargill said, okay, not only am I going to be a mom in this business, I'm going to bring my kid to work with me.
Okay, and that's great. That's great. But the whole fucking idea, the concept that because a woman wants to go have a baby, she's fucking up the business, that's 9 months. At the most, it says 12 months of recovery and everything, maternity and all that. You know what? That's like saying that the women at my job have ruined their careers because they decided that they had to go on maternity leave.
Well, I mean, Logan Paul.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm only asking because if we're going to talk about the women and the way it's evolved, the internet, we never knew about this before about, hey, why are women taking this time off, blah, blah, blah.
I think it's better. Like, hey, congratulations. Go have that baby. We'll see you when you get back.
Okay, now here's my question for you. Why should I get invested in you? Because no. Now, why should I be invested in you because the wrestling fan could care less about 12 months from now. What are you doing for me today? And that's my only the problem is that we have too much of living for today and not want to wait it out anymore.
Well, then we should have other stars out there that are going to fucking pick up that slack. Why a company should not live and die off of one fucking woman or one man?
I don't know.
I mean, look, say what you want. Even at the prime of his career, Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't the only star back then. And whenever he went out, you had The Rock, you had a Triple H, you had a Mick Foley, and they carried the weight. And yes, it took 3 men to carry the weight of one, but damn it, they did it. WWE is still around. They're still putting out a product because they weren't.
Dan, you're asking. That's what I'm saying to you is why is there two standards? A guy goes out for 12 months, he comes back, he acts like he's never left. Woman goes out for 12 months because she goes out to have a kid, she comes back. Well, thanks for coming back. Like that's it.
That's not true because Becky went out, she had to vacate the title, and when she came back after having her baby, they're like, "Oh my God, it's Becky! Yay! Yay!"
Is that really being the way it's done right now? Because I'll tell you, it doesn't seem to me like it doesn't seem like she came back.
I'm not talking about this time. I'm talking about before. Whenever she came back and faced.
Well, even when she came back before, it wasn't even like it was still a little lackluster even then, and then she was gone a little bit after that. So like Becky's aura is kind of falling off.
Again,
that's just one example.
I'll say this. I'll use it Rhea Ripley. I truly believe if Rhea and Buddy Matthews decided they wanted to have a kid, and they had a kid right now, whatever it may be, whatever, she leaves for the no.
She would piss off a lot of men.
She leaves for a bit. She comes back after having a kid. People are going to fucking pop. They're going to go, "Oh my God, Rhea's back."
I'm glad. So let's just bring
it's like Ruby Soho in AEW has had a kid too, and she's been gone for almost 2 years now too. It's like, what the fuck?
I'm glad you just bring that up because they're about to do a big show in Australia. Let's just say something happens between now and October.
Okay.
She's the headline. She's the one promoting this.
They got Bronson Reed. They can put him on the card.
Okay, so you're basically saying is fuck her if she wants to go have a baby?
No.
Because you have a show in Australia coming up? You're going to fuck up ticket sales.
I'm saying no. Is that one of the reasons why promoters nowadays look and say, I want to do X, Y, and Z with this woman. But on the other hand, do they go to her and say, listen, we want to do this, this, and this?
Well, again, it's like a lot of these women, I don't think they're planning on getting pregnant. And again, it's like, I don't want to speculate too much here, but there's probably a lot of them that have gotten pregnant, and you get what I'm saying, like, and choose, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like there could be stories like that we don't know about where shit like that happens. It's like, I don't know. I think the pregnancy thing is a little like,
that's a stretch.
That's something. That's something that they can't control. If Seth Rollins and Becky were planning on getting pregnant, and then WWE had all these plans, and then out of nowhere Becky's like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." Then
I mean, shit, Gerard, condoms break. Pull-out game isn't always as great as you think it is.
Guys,
very true.
I'm only asking for what Rhea's saying about the fans. I'm only saying, is that one of the reasons? Listen, I don't think it's right if it is one of the reasons. Okay,
but this is my frustration with that. This is my
maybe Vince thought that like in the early 2000s. Maybe
that's what I'm asking. I'm like, do you think that could have been one of the reasons why he never put them into those?
I don't think Triple H thinks that.
I think Vince wanted to fuck half his female roster. He pushed the ones that were nice to him.
Baby's gonna be mine.
You know what? We did a video on this channel about fucking Ashley Mazzaro and how he would creep up to her fucking door every other fucking night. I think that was a problem during the Vince era. The thing about this era, the thing that's going on right now is you got someone like Stephanie in the back, you got someone like Triple H in the back, you have someone like fucking Shawn Michaels who's taking these women and giving them the opportunities they never had to be on TV. I'm sorry. Counter to what others believe, I find women's wrestling can be really good. There was a little pay-per-view that happened a couple of years ago that they've been talking about, we should do another one. We should do another one. You know what it was called? It's called Evolution. And the reason why it's on this thumbnail today is because they're talking about bringing it back, and I'm all for it.
You know what I'd say? If they bring it back, I think it should be a women's open revolution. And what I mean by that is, if you can do it, WWE, hey TNA, hey AEW, hey Ring, whatever, let's all do this together. You can WWE can reach out to TNA.
I think they are. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Triple H is going to be there. I think TNA is going to be there.
I'm just saying, if you can get all companies involved, okay?
Yeah.
And have a pay-per-view like this. And I mean all companies. Of course, WWE's women would be the main event, of course. But if you can get all companies involved, and let's see what an all companies pay-per-view can do.
They did that before, and it was a fire pay-per-view. It was awesome. I love that the women's evolution. The Evolution pay-per-view itself was awesome.
Yes.
Here's the problem. We could all agree that wrestling is a testosterone-fueled fucking show. It's built for men, but it's built for men between the ages of 18 and 35. That's their core demographic. And if you're 18 to 35, your biggest thing is wanting to stick something in something. That's just what your fucking head's fucking capable of. Look, we work with Jacob McGovern. And if he's not talking about wrestling, he's talking about who he wants to put something in. That's that. Look, I love him. That's Jacob. That being said, I'm not saying that I'm fucking better than anybody. I'm just saying my view of women's wrestling is different. I like a good women's wrestling match because they bring something different. I like Stephanie McCare, contrary to my wife's belief, not just because of her beautiful ass.
What got her in the door?
Apparently, it's what got her in the door.
Then Naomi must have broke down the door before she even stepped in the door.
Again, never been a big fan of Naomi because I didn't think she was a great wrestler. That's just my opinion. I like Charlotte's wrestling capabilities. Can't stand to hear her talk. I think Tiffany Stratton does some of the most incredible gymnastic moves that I've ever seen. I was a Tiffany fan when NXT, and what really put it over is the fucking Elimination Chamber when she did that fucking flip off the damn thing. Women aren't doing that. She is. What's going on, Cabal? Women have. I didn't like Lita back in the day, but when I was Jacob's age, I was all about Trish. Why? I don't know. There's two giant reasons I thought that she was fucking awesome. And I can acknowledge that whatever she was, yeah.
Would you agree? So our thing was, think about it like this: in the late '90s, early 2000s, you had too many bombshells and not enough actual wrestling talent.
Yes, because back in the '90s and back in the early 2000s, they were looking for the swimsuit centerfolds. They were looking for They weren't looking for athletes. They were looking for tits. They were looking for fucking tits. That's just what it was. I'll call it like it is.
And that's what I'm trying to say is, so nowadays, though, you're trying to get the best of both worlds. And you know what? The best of both worlds is losing to the wrestling ability, which is very good for fans. If you're a fan of wrestling, when you're getting more wrestling ability over just looks, that's an enjoyable thing.
Well, what's going on right now is that you're proving that you can be a fucking knockout and still kick ass in a fucking wrestling ring. It's a true evolution of what the sport was. I'm sorry. The Fabulous Moolah looked like a trucker down to the fucking old Stop 6 where they would fucking pull up, fill up gas, and start the woman would fight your ass.
Think about that, Dan. And you guys might agree with this. Nia Jax from the neck down, look. She has a pretty face. Okay.
I want to repeat what you just said, how you said it. Because I don't think you understood what you just said, how you said it. Hold on. Hold the fuck up. Hold on.
That was awesome.
Oh, he's going to rewind it.
Nia Jax from the neck down.
So what I'm trying to say is this, okay? But she has a nice face.
You're damn right, Cabal. Not fucking the Fabulous Moolah looked like she worked at the fucking Waffle House.
So my question to you is this. Give me a woman that looks like that today.
Shayna Baszler.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
You're right. Here's Leno.
Hold on. I'm going to say this. I've worked for gentlemen's clubs, working as a fucking doorman, working as a manager, whatever it may be, some sort of security at clubs before, and I've done it. I had done it for years. And every woman is fit for whatever profession. Not because they're not talented, because I've seen some women do things on a pole that should not physically be possible. They just didn't fit the look. Because part of that particular job was this right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The beautiful thing about the industry we love, that is professional wrestling, is this isn't everything anymore. Yes, is it like no different than a fucking gimmick, no different than fucking having the gift of gab in wrestling. You said it yourself. You don't give a fuck what Io Sky says. It's what she does within those 4 posts. And say what you want about Shayna Baszler. I never thought she was an ugly woman. I thought she was.
No, I'm saying is
she just looks too much like Jay Leno. Like,
you just said
side by side.
Fabulous Moolah looked like a trucker or somebody should be working at the Waffle House. Today, right now, in 2025, give me any woman who looks like she should be working in the Waffle House who can still go out there and perform. So they're still basing a lot of it on looks.
Gerard Millette looks like he should be working at the Waffle House.
That's what I'm trying to say.
She tapped you in that situation.
I'm only trying to say is, so they still go with the looks, but the difference is they're going with looks and they have in-ring ability.
Okay, but even maybe it's because I'm older and I'm not a fucking horny little shit anymore as I was when I was younger. I can watch a woman for the quality of ability she has in the fucking ring. If you brought out the female version of Mick Foley and she could fucking go,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, are we going to be ready for that, though? I'm saying, when are they going to find that woman like that who I can say, and I'm not talking about like Bull Nakano, maybe I'm not talking about the other one, I can't remember her name, but why does it have to still be about looks? Bring that woman to me, and when you see it first,
you know who did it pretty fucking good and wasn't meant to be attractive? Luna Vachon. Okay, Luna Vachon was not meant to be attractive. I thought she was sexy as hell, but Luna Vachon had a hell of a fucking gimmick, and she was there like this. And
but that's what I'm saying is a woman like let's go with her. Would a woman like her, just like you said, Moolah, would a woman like Luna survive today?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh, Luna would have got over.
No, I'm saying today. I'm saying
no, yes, I agree absolutely.
So why can't they hire a woman like that to come out and be like that then?
See, if they had someone like Jessica Havoc.
Hold on. AEW did. You know what her name is? Abaddon.
Oh, see, I'm glad you said something about Abaddon because Abaddon fucking rules. I don't know what's going on with their contract right now, but yeah, Abaddon
is actually underneath all that face paint, underneath all that shit.
Oh my God.
She is a beautiful woman. She chooses to find beauty in grotesque. And I literally just commented on.
Wait a minute. The Nitro Girls was not Vince's idea. In every one of the Nitro Girls.
Who's talking about the Nitro Girls?
Why looks a thing? Because Vince created that. No. The Nitro Girls.
Well, who said that?
I said that.
The Nitro Girls created that because you know what?
The Nitro Girls did not create the fucking vanity of women's wrestling.
No, I'm saying is
Spice was my favorite
part of it.
It was Vince
stuff like that.
You know, so you're gonna say that Vince busting out Wendy fucking Richter? That wasn't a fucking job.
Let's bring Wendy Richter back. Come on, she's still out there.
What? Rockin' Robin, Wendy.
The whole train? The whole train, really?
Let's bring back.
Well, you ever see someone? Listen, now, some of them hoes that were part of the whole train, those look like some, not too well.
When they get out of line, you know what a pimp does to a hoe.
Listen, I don't know what strip club they got some of them girls from, but I'll tell you this right now, it wasn't from Scores. Or 10s or nothing like that,
Okay, you're really sure you're gonna talk about Jugs and Biggins next?
Hey, don't make me pull out my Al Bundy.
Jesus, fuck.
I'm just saying, the women, when somebody like Rhea comes out and talks about it, all I'm saying is it's a small amount of people. Do women still have to impress more than men? Absolutely.
But, okay, this is one industry they do. Okay, look, let's call it like it is. Using their sexuality, a woman could go on OnlyFans and make your fucking salary in a month. Your entire salary.
Depending on who she is, 5 minutes.
She could, right? And she can do that.
Yeah.
A man can't.
I mean, look at Cora Jade. Cora Jade's already started up her OnlyFans. You know?
So here's the deal. Wrestling, and
That's
no one
more than
can
one
deny
word.
this.
Well, if I gave away my number for $100 a month, yeah.
Here's the deal. Wrestling, let's call it what it is a male dominated industry.
Whose fault is that, though?
Hold on. It's a male dominated industry because it's a physical fucking career. No different than football. No different than baseball. No different than boxing. It is a fucking sport. And if you look at the WNBA, you look at fucking women's whatever, anything else, men will always be on top. But what wrestling does...
No, mommy's on top.
For fuck's sake, I swear.
Jacob was going to say it first, so I might as well say it.
Yeah,
And
he's
fuck
right.
Corey Graves. Corey Graves is a bitter little
Yeah,
twisted
what
shit.
did Corey Graves say?
Hold on.
What did he do this time?
But women have said, fuck that. And they've carved their own path with broken bones and matches that can live up and last a lifetime. It started for me back in Brooklyn at a little pay-per-view for NXT where they showed the world that emotion, that class, and damn it, 2 fucking girls can go out there and give a match that is fucking up there at the caliber of a Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21 when Bayley and fucking Mercedes Moné, at the time it was Sasha Banks, put on one of the best matches I've ever seen. Man, woman, penis, vagina, whatever. They killed it and they set the fucking bar.
Dan, would you say this, though? For every good that the women wrestling comes up into, if they have one bad thing, it knocks them right back down.
Absolutely, because there's a double standard.
Men can have 30 bad things, and it doesn't knock them down.
Perfect example. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and fucking Obafemi, the ruler of NXT, had a triple threat. There was a botch fucking fest. Look at this fucking Jacob running around with his little fucking... Look at Jacob with his fucking red shorts.
Yeah.
You forget to shut off your camera?
No, my cat started fucking going crazy. I thought I heard something else. I was like, what the fuck is that noise?
So they had a botch fest and nobody noticed it. Same fucking company. Same fucking brand. Bayley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Stephanie McCare, all in the same ring at the same time. I think Cora Jade might have been there. No, anyway, they had that fucking match where Bayley came down to challenge for the NXT Championship in that Fatal 4 or whatever it was. Bayley was getting outshined, outclassed. They were missing spots, what have you. Everybody remembers that. They didn't botch nearly as much as fucking they did that with fucking Javon Evans and Joe Obafemi, but because women are at that precipice where they're like right there, and people are starting to take them serious. And so everything they do is under a microscope. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, it's the truth. Women are to a point where they can almost start overtaking men. And again, what was the main event for Monday Night Raw? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Oh,
was it last week?
Was
it the Io Sky and
Io Sky and Rhea Ripley?
Okay. There was a tag team. It was a tag team. Julia and Roxanne Perez
against.
No, I thought it was Roxanne Perez and.
No. Yeah. Julia
Roxanne Perez and Julia versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Yes.
And at the end, the referee raised the hand conveniently with the title belt in the middle.
Okay, but it was the main event.
Yep.
Okay, now listen to this. Let's go back. Let's go back ages ago when fucking Gerard's fucking balls weren't gray.
You're going to talk about Trish Stratus and Lita headlining Monday Night Raw, and they come out and say it's the first time.
That was a big fucking... You remember because you're as much a fan as I do, and how much, oh my God, women are doing the main event. Oh my God. Come to now,
No, not only that. It was the first time women had ever main evented any WWE show. Not only just on Raw. They had never main evented any show.
Okay. So let's fast forward to now, 2025. In the past couple of years, women have been killing it. And people have been watching that. And no matter how much events or no matter how much anybody wants to stifle that, they're going to go and they're going to give it their best. So I understand when someone Rhea says all this, exactly, Cabal, exactly. But I understand when Rhea comes out, makes his tweet, and is pissed off because they're breaking their fucking backs. That match at WrestleMania, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley was the best match of the entire 2 nights. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That match,
Logan Paul versus AJ Styles.
That first match on the second night fucking made WrestleMania.
Here's the thing. I just want you to know, though. I'm just saying is when she brings out that stuff like that, in the fans' eyes, especially the IWC crowd, you will never make all the IWC happy no matter what.
You'll know, because the IWC is a bunch, and I'll say it because I've been part of it, and so have you, Jacob, for years. As we've seen some videos where you and I have appeared on recently. The IWC is a bunch of bitter, insecure, incel fuckboys who don't understand their fucking ass from their elbow. And if you try to fucking tell them any different and you try to show them something new, they throw a fit, they troll you, and they fucking act like fucking dumb shits.
Yep. Well, what was the thing that Corey Graves said? What
did Corey Graves say?
He's talking about her wingspan, remember?
Oh, yeah, he's talking about her wingspan, how she's got big-ass shoulders or some shit. I don't give a fuck. She can look like a condor. The woman can do what she does in the fucking
listen, I'll put you like this.
Huh?
Well, has he seen who the fuck he's married to?
Let me tell you this.
Looks like a condor.
Hey, and I appreciate that about Ripley because why? She's changed her, Bianca, Jade. They're changing the pencil gimmick of the woman in the business. And you know what? I don't need to see 100 Terry Runnels out here. I don't need to see that.
Well, and fuck Corey Graves, first of all. Like, Corey Graves sucks.
You talk about bitter. He's bitter because his wife lost her job because
No, fuck that. He's been bitter since he had the fucking Lucky 13 finisher and his ass got fucking a concussion. He had to retire from wrestling. He thought he was going to be the next CM Punk. You know what? Fuck it. You know what? I wish Hey, Jacob's music real quick, and I'm taking that spot real quick.
Jacob's Corner ain't no ordinary space. He rants and raves with that fire in his face. Every word a racket, shaking up the place. The whole block hears him setting his pace.
I'm not fucking Jacob. I'm Dan. But fuck Corey Graves. Fuck everything he stands for. He's a fucking bitter, insecure little shit with fucking knuckles who had a cool fucking finisher called the Lucky 13. He's not bitter because of his wife. He's not bitter because he got kicked off commentary. He's bitter because he was a fucking wrestler who thought he was going to be a big deal. Yes, he looked like James Dean. Yes, he had $1 million physique. But you know where that got you when you got hit in the head? Fuck all. You went on to be a commentator for NXT, and you did a damn good job. I'm not knocking that. Happy for you. You got moved up to the main roster. But motherfucker, you're never going to beat Pat McAfee. Will not happen. You're not going to be more entertaining than that goofy guy who has the fucking physique of a 12-year-old baseball kid. Get over yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'm Dan. Thanks for watching Jacob's Corner.
Jacob's Corner where the truth ignites. No holding back, no silent nights. It's race cuts through the darker lights. Every last a battle, every word a fight.
Fucking corner now.
Now, let me say this about that. When it comes to Corey Graves, he tries to be the next coming of Bobby the Brain Heenan.
He's not.
No. What's the middle part of that?
Brain.
What does Corey Graves do?
He's not even the second coming of fucking Matt Stryker. Like, seriously.
No, I'll give you this. I like Corey Graves, just like I liked fucking Leo Kruger, not fucking Adam Rose. Leo Kruger.
Shut up about Leo Kruger, bro.
Back in the day, I loved Leo Kruger's character. I liked fucking dipshit Corey Graves. The problem is things happen.
Hey, Corey
World is
Graves, Wade Barrett does a better job than you.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that goes.
The
without saying.
world is not fucking the nicest place in the world, and fate can be.
Would you guys agree one thing, that Corey Graves, instead of being appreciative to WWE for keeping him in a job, getting him a paycheck, allows him to have his family?
I'm watching you, Cabal.
Instead, he's being bitter about it. And that's the thing that gets to me is like they've done everything they could. They've bent over backwards for this man to keep him employed. And all he ever does is run his mouth about it. Let him go. Let's see how great he can be outside of it.
He's a journalist.
And that's the sad thing about all this is like, Corey Graves.
He's the second coming of fucking Meltzler.
Corey Graves is just, a crybaby bitch. I mean, we saw what happened when he got moved to NXT and that weird fucking rant he went on Twitter. Go back to when he tweeted all that shit against CM Punk one night, and he was like, and then he tagged Vince McMahon and Triple H in the tweet, and like he's had a history of just weird behavior and fucking weird comments on commentary, like shit. He called Sami Zayn a virtue signaler or something like that.
Let me ask you this. Hasn't Corey Graves been an announcer longer than he ever was a wrestler?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that makes you an announcer.
Yeah.
Let me clarify. This is my opinion. I don't think it means anything about his whole fucking wife thing. Yeah, I'm sure he loves his wife. I'm sure he's trying to stick up for her or whatever. I'm sorry.
I hope so.
Carmella was not the second coming. Carmella couldn't. I mean, her gimmicks were whatever. She was more entertaining when she was hanging around that big giant sumbitch Cass and Enzo Amore. That was the highlight of her career. She came out doing this beauty thing with a mask. It was mid, if anything. Her with James Ellsworth, mid, if anything.
I can't talk that bad about her because she is from the Worcester, Massachusetts.
I don't give a shit.
She was a cheerleader for New England Patriots. When they won a Super Bowl or two.
Look how Massachusetts turned out for you. Okay, I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is the fact of, if your only reason, Corey Graves, is to keep running these rants is because you don't like your position, don't resign.
He's a fucking perfect example of a little millennial bitch or whatever.
Don't resign. Let them cut you and go see if you can make a better living somewhere else. But
Corey, if you ever watch this, which I doubt you will, but if you ever did, sure there's a podcast out there produced in the Panhandle of Texas. You could take it up the ass from him too.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, Conrad would love that, dude.
If he's so mad about it,
what was it like to be next to Michael Cole on commentary?
Don't renew your contract. Go off and see if you can sit next to Excalibur and Tony.
You know who I do like? You know who I really like? Who's never fucking talked shit? Who's just doing his own thing? Who was a wrestler and now is a commentator? Excalibur. No, I'm just kidding. Calm down, Gerard. I saw the fucking look at his eyeballs. Matthew fucking Ringwald. He's in TNA right now. He used to be fucking English. And he loves wrestling. He was a hell of a worker, but he never misunderstood his position in the company. It was just a guy fucking being a wrestling fan who was a wrestler.
Listen, remember Josh Josh Andrews, I think his name was, or something like that.
Josh Matthews?
Yes, Matthews. Remember him?
No, yeah. I don't think anyone does.
Yes.
He left WWE and he actually went to commentating in TNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the worst part about TNA for those years, man. I mean, literally, there'd be a time, during, I got really back into TNA around, 2016, 2017, around when the Hardys were, around there. And, Decay and all that shit. And there was literally, there were times where I would turn off the show because it'd be and Lashley does this, and Lashley, and it's just
yeah, I think him and the Pope are probably the worst fucking pairing.
Oh, I forgot about the Pope.
And I like the Pope. I love the Pope. I don't know why, but I love the Pope.
Where is he, man? I don't know where. He hasn't been involved in
that. Yeah.
Well, it's just like we say, though, guys. When we go back to the women part of it and stuff like that, in all companies, unless you're in one company to where there's one woman who believes she's above everything else,
Mercedes.
I wasn't saying any names. They do have to work harder than men to get to the same spot, and they get knocked down quicker than men.
Because again, and say what you want, and until the time it comes, this is not a male-driven business, which it is what it is. All right, I'm sorry. You know,
what is it?
Crocheting.
NBA, WNBA. NBA guys can make $60 million a year. WNBA women.
But I'll say this: wrestling has established that women have more of a say. The women are a bigger deal. You know, more people understand and know women's wrestlers, and I would argue that WNBA women.
Unless your name is Brittany Griner or something like that, to where you go to other people's country smoking weed. But
hold on, I like Caitlin Clark. Shut the fuck up. What I'll say is this: is that wrestling has provided a better platform for women. This is maybe a fucking hot take, but I think what wrestling has provided a better platform for women than any other sports platform. And that includes golf, that includes tennis, that includes soccer, that includes WNBA. Women wrestlers are financially taken care of better than any other sport.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, we had the legends.
Unless you're at the top echelon, because I don't think Serena Williams and Venus Williams and
that is the difference, because look where they're at.
Yeah,
okay? They are women's tennis. Do you know, other than fucking Billie Jean King? Do you know anybody else in fucking tennis?
Martina Navratilova, Gabriela Sabatini, Steffi Graf.
Yeah, but you're weird. Okay, I'm talking about your average fucking fan.
Jennifer Capriati.
This fucking guy.
I don't think I've ever watched tennis a day in my life.
Yeah, you did. You were watching the Williams sisters' asses.
Well, you got to remember one thing.
Okay.
Jacob, why I was able to just announce that for some fact, growing up, you really didn't have cable that much in the late 80s, early 90s. And if any of that stuff was on, it would kill one of the channels. So you had to sit there and watch that. You remember back in the day, Wimbledon used to overtake wrestling on Monday nights.
Yep.
You couldn't watch wrestling on Monday nights because they had tennis on.
Or the dog show, man.
Yep, tennis or the dog show. That was it. So,
well, it's like, I could just make the argument that the Legends football league really did a lot for women.
That was the lingerie football.
Yeah,
league.
no, but now it's the Legends football.
Okay,
league. I think they changed it to something else. I don't know. I don't think it's called that anymore either. But
this motherfucker just really bring up the lingerie football league.
Yeah, I think they did. I think it did a lot for women. They were paid. I'm pretty sure they were paid well. Come on.
This motherfucker really just brought up the fucking panty bowl.
I got more excited. Hey, listen. I got more excited watching the Puppy Bowl.
We'll look up the LFL for this. I'm going to find some games.
But, listen, to go along with wrestling.
I'm poking my finger into my eyeball. That's the only thing that just takes away the fucking pain of watching this.
No, listen. So, I something came up across the paper I was reading the other day is Liv Dunn. The girl from LSU there, her career is now over as a gymnastics thing. And they talk about how much she's made off of her likenesses. She's never played any professional sport yet. And what she makes just off her likenesses, where's she going to go to make that kind of money?
OnlyFans.
He's not wrong. I don't always agree with Jacob, but he's not wrong.
And that's the thing, to where you could have some female athletes who go that route because of the payday. Mandy Rose.
Yeah, she made $1 million.
She wasn't a bad wrestler.
She got better. She got better.
Did get better over time. She was honestly getting really good by the time she got released. To be honest.
And who was she doing? She was doing OnlyFans with Lacey Evans.
Yes,
you seem like a Lacey Evans kind of guy.
I'm just saying, is the fact of
women's right.
the way these women nowadays can do their stuff, that hey, if you don't pay me, I can go do this and make more money.
Isn't it great to have that kind of luxury?
Men can't do that.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? But I'm just asking, can that be another reason why the fans in the IWC don't take the women seriously, because they think, hey, they can just drop their back.
No, the reason that the fucking people in the IWC don't take women seriously is because they're a bunch of fucking incels. I can tell you about a guy.
I think that Braun Strowman OnlyFans is going to hit, pretty well.
I can tell you right now. I was a guy, and I don't need to say names. There was a guy in the IWC who I would chat back and forth with. The motherfucker would message me and say, "Hey, have you ever seen this picture of Sonny before?" And I'm like, "Which one? The one pre or post coke whore phase?" Yeah.
Well,
that's the IWC. I could give two fucks with the mass majority of that. You know what? There were some diamonds in the rough. Cabal came from the IWC. Fucking amazing. Nigel, who we've had on the show. Loved having him. Josh. All guys from the IWC have wonderful opinions about the business. Do I agree with all of them? No.
John's the entertainment,
But that's fucking prick. But if you listen to them, they're not fucking sitting here going, "Yeah, I'm all about her tits." They actually enjoyed wrestling for what it fucking was. They were fans. Now, don't get me wrong. I have been guilty of saying that like Tony Storm. We went to an event here in Texas where AEW was one of the better events I've ever been to. You know what? I'll say this. They can't fill a fucking arena for shit, but they can do a live event. Went to a live event out here. It was I think it was a taping of Collision?
Yeah.
It was a taping of Collision. I think they did some Ring of Honor shit there. It's the first time I'd ever seen Toni Storm live. And I don't know what kind of smoke and mirrors they're putting on TV, but in my opinion, she has a pancake ass. And I made it clear. Toni Storm has a pancake ass. Is that fucking chauvinistic? Is that fucking being a dude? Absolutely. But you know what? The woman can fucking go. I'll put the timeless Toni Storm gimmick up against anything. And that is a fucking thing that women are up against. So, yes, they can sell their asses and make money. But you know what? They also have to work twice as hard. Because not only do they have to get over the fact that X, Y, and Z about looks, but they have to do it in the ring. So,
okay,
yes.
So then how do you feel about women who use that to their advantage?
Tony Schimmel?
And can't back it up.
I just said that. Are you talking about Tony? Schimmel?
No,
I'm sorry, Tony. If you watch this, Gerard's being a dick.
No, I just said, how do you feel about women who use that to their advantage, but then can't back it up, negotiating contracts?
You're talking about like Sable? She should have fucking been gone after fucking 3.
I'm talking about somebody today.
Mercedes?
I didn't mention that name.
I will. She sucks, in my opinion.
So, what I'm saying is, though,
so bad.
For all the bad things women have ever said about wrestling promoters, for her to turn it around and use all that bad stuff to better her contract, isn't that the hypocritical oath?
Well, she threw a fit on the. She literally threw a fit on the floor like a child and then left.
I think she bring the crack into Tony's office myself.
I don't know. Tony must have a. I think Tony's
phrase.
supplying everyone. I think Tony's a fucking a fiend, bro. But
I think Tony. You think Tony's a pusher man right there?
Yeah, I think Tony's. Yeah, no, I don't think it's Coke directly. I just think it's Adderall. It could be Adderall because of things I've seen in my personal life. But Tony Khan's fucking terrible.
There's a phrase that I've been told, and I like the phrase. It's called "See you next Tuesday."
Yeah,
I would argue that Mercedes Moné, formerly Sasha Banks, Little Miss Boston.
and she's not even from Boston. That's the sad thing.
Boston is a real see you next Tuesday.
Well, and it's just everything about her sucks. I mean, it's just she's the only wrestler.
This is what kills me. She's undersized, is all this. She talk all that shit, and she's getting fucking treated like $1 million. And there's a girl in WWE who fucking Jacob can't stand. 3 what?
$3 million.
I'm going to say, if you say 3 MB and you start getting him on Jinder Mahal again.
No. $3 million. You said $1 million. $3 million.
Whatever. There's a girl in WWE right now who is athletically gifted. She's a bit undersized, but she's good enough to carry the United States champion. And she whooped Chelsea Green's ass. Zelina Vega. And everybody gives her shit. But that
I don't hate Zelina Vega. I just think
she pours her fucking heart into every match.
You know,
so did fucking Mantar, but we don't talk about Mantar.
I will say this about shit. I will say this about Zelina Vega. I will never put that woman down after what she's gone through in her life. It's great to see that she.
You say that because you like Puerto Ricans?
No. Listen, I praise her for becoming the woman that she's become because of what happened with her as an 11-year-old child.
No, I get that.
Okay? And for people to finally stand, she never got her flowers that day when they did the anniversary. They had to wait till they did a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico for her to get it. And that was a fuck-up moment to where we have to make this right. And it shouldn't have been. That's a messed up moment. We have to make it right. It would have never happened if it had been a man. Man in the same situation, that moment would have been right for the man.
Well, what about Chris Benoit?
No. We're talking about dead people. I'm saying to you is if a man has lost his father in the same way she lost her father, he would have been given his honus on that day.
No, the thing about that is
Pete Davidson does exist, so.
The one thing that I don't fucking feel bad for her, because she doesn't want anybody to feel bad for her. Her dad died on 9/11. Right? It's a big fucking deal. It's a day that shaped this country into what it became.
Why? What happened?
Not just dying on 9/11. He was in one of the towers.
I almost didn't do it.
To me, he was in one of the towers.
But that's what I'm saying, okay? And instead, knowing WWE and the fucking regime that's been there, they would have done a gimmick where she had to wrestle a terrorist. Knowing the way that motherfucker is, they would have.
Or someone would have used it against her in a promo.
Yes, and thank God no one has. Because here's the thing,
and I will say this: it's probably the one thing. If you think about it, in the past 25 years, Vince never messed around with it. Because he
shit, he wanted to have the Undertaker.
No, what I'm saying is that specific day.
They took Undertaker out with a piano.
I'm saying is he never messed around with that specific day. He never messed around with the attacking of the buildings.
Now, lest we fucking forget Masama Hassan.
I was just going to say to you, we can talk about the other things.
5 years old when that aired.
What I'm saying is,
they killed the Undertaker.
What the fuck? Finally, look who's in the chat.
Oh, you guess who that is?
I know who that is.
Oh shit!
John!
Welcome.
John! One of our biggest supporters, John.
Yeah.
Welcome, brother. It's about time. And I know you got more to say. You can put it out there.
Yeah, look, John, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. I know that you're very passionate about it. If technology was your strong suit, this is one of the few times I'd fucking break the golden rule and let you come on. Because I know how fucking important that is.
Oh.
About fucking time.
Yeah.
It's only like episode fucking 30.
31.
Shut up, Gerard.
So talking about 9/11 aside, I think Zelina Vega is a great wrestler. I just think she's boring because it's especially.
Hold on 1 second.
You're welcome, John.
I'm going to put some context out there. John has been one of the guys who's been very supportive of this channel from behind the scenes. He's a wonderful wrestling fan. He's been involved with the business quite a long time. Look, he knows a lot of people in the industry. We don't talk about it because, he's always been basically a silent guy in the back who's been friends with Gerard. I've had wonderful conversations with the man. He can type up a fucking novel as far as fucking a message goes, but nothing but a great guy. Thank you for, being as good as you have been to us, John. And just know that we thank the world of you here at the fucking show and just as a human being. There's not you're, as I've told Gerard, you are a colorful man, but we love having you around.
And I will say, I am happy that he can see this. He can finally be in touch with us and help him heal his loss.
John was friends with the late Sabu, and I don't mean like, he had him on an interview or something like that. They were friends. So we're mourning right there with you, John.
Take another hit. Well, listen, one day him and Jacob can maybe.
Oh, sweet Jesus. No, he's going to put Jacob under the fucking bus. No, fuck that. Jacob's going to be the motherfucker from Dazed and Confused. I can't feel my legs. I have no legs.
And John would be like, what are you talking about, dude? It's only my first hit.
This was the first one. But no, again, you sat there with a straight face and said that Vince never did this. He had the Undertaker dragged out right after fucking 9/11 with fucking ski mask, Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan.
Cali Bud's way better than Arizona Bud. I'll tell you that much.
I'm going to start a new podcast called Weeds.
Oh.
Fucking Muhammad Hassan came out to the ring, literally prayed to Allah, summoned
man.
Well, no, that was hey, hold on. They killed that. Wait a minute. That was for something that happened in London.
Oh yeah,
they
that was
canceled the show.
Okay, whatever.
Happened in London.
Okay,
and remember,
terrorist attack.
it was pre-taped. It was pre-taped, so they were able to cancel the show.
So it's okay. That's a different terrorist attack. It
They
wasn't
didn't know about
9/11.
it. But they did the right thing. They canceled that segment.
It's out there.
They canceled the segment. But,
Terrible
segment. But if you want to go back to that point, let's talk about what they used to do with Stephanie too when they had her up.
Tits McGee?
Huh?
Tits McGee?
I'm talking about Stephanie when they had her.
On a crucifix that was shaped like the letter T?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's wrong with that?
That was cinema.
If you're going to talk about that, then if you want to talk about that, then you can talk about
It
Chris
wasn't
Jericho.
the Holy Cross. It was a big Undertaker symbol with an X on it.
Yeah, it was an Undertaker.
What I was going to say is when Chris Jericho happened to mention that Stephanie had, gotten larger.
Okay, make sense. Make it make sense. John, I'm going to read your comment real quick. Yes, it's been rough this week, people. I know, and I'm sorry for your loss. Like I said, I don't.
Oh no! Because listen, and
we here at Mark's podcast do not condone any use of it.
I would say this, and Howie just said this.
Yeah, it's medicinal.
The behind the scenes thing, and I think we talked about it before. In the other days, I don't know if it still goes on today. It probably doesn't go as much as the backstabbing and the looking out for oneself when you're supposed to be part of a company and you want to see everybody succeed and you had all that backstabbing. To have it go on with death is never a good thing in any profession, to where somebody dies in a job and some scumbag comes right up to the boss and say, hey, can I have his position? And I mean, this person's not even in the ground yet. Somebody already doing that kind of thing. I feel like sometimes when people pass away like this in entertainment, there's always some opportunistic sleazeball who wants to jump in.
And I agree with you. And I'm trying to say this without coming off like a fucking douchebag. There's a reason why.
What stopped you any other time?
Well, because it's a different scenario.
Okay.
I've gone on record before of saying the best interview I've ever done on this fucking channel was the one with Sabu. And if I was a real scumbag, we would have gone on here and I would have fucking tried to get traffic for that particular video. He was probably, in the time that I got to talk to him, one of the most genuine people. And again, I thought Raven was awesome. Like talking to him off air and on air was amazing. It was just really cool to pick his brain. I'll say there's a girl that wrestles for fucking who's wrestled for AEW a couple times, and Missa Kate. I mean, she's fucking a doll, a wonderful human being. I love her work. I don't know why fucking WWE hasn't picked her up yet. When they picked up fucking what's her name, the chick with the one pant leg. I can't remember her name. She's part of the
Lash Legend.
No, the catch. She's with fucking William Regal's son.
Oh,
Maddie Rinkowski. They picked up Maddie Rinkowski, but they haven't picked up fucking Missa Kate. I'll never understand that. But I joke about it now. But when I did the interview with Sabu, I was late. Like I showed up to the house late. I told him I'd be there. He didn't die because I had him scheduled from this time to this time. And I said, man, I'm so sorry I'm late. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. You know, I offered to put up a fucking, the link for his GoFundMe for if he had something for Melissa Coates when she passed away. Don't worry about it. If you just remind people of who she was. I talked to him and he was like, the one thing that I'll never forget from that conversation is even though he was nice as can be, even though he was happy as can be, he was in a lot of pain. He said his shoulder was fucked, his hip was fucked, his knees were fucked. But he never regretted what he did in the business. You know, that motherfucker was stand up. And I still stand by the fact that for everything he did innovating the business, he should have been a fucking millionaire. And he wasn't. And what kills me is I know that there are individuals that people are upset with. I'm upset with these companies. I'm so pissed off with these companies who have a guy and they'll gladly put up a 5-second fucking little fucking snippet of so-and-so, Terry Brunk, Sabu, we miss you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you didn't miss him enough while he was actually hurt to take care of him. There are wrestlers out there, and I know we talk about a cauliflower foundation and shit like that. There are wrestlers out there. And I hate to compare it to this. It may not, maybe fucking a hot take, but they're like fucking veterans. They gave of their bodies for their industry, for their sport, and they're left with nothing. And not all of them were, some of them were pieces of shit.
You know what? I'm glad you just said that. Because there was an announcement that came out this week in Major League Baseball that we could finally get to honor everybody who's been banned in baseball because they're dead. As long as your ban ends when you die. So now you can go back and honor the people like the Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Pete Roses, and stuff like that. To honor the dead for stuff that they did now after they have died. In one league, NHL, NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball all have one thing in common: a retirement program for all their players. Don't we think it's long past time that the world of professional wrestling has a retirement program for all retired wrestlers?
Yeah. Well, and I'm just surprised WWE doesn't already have something like that, especially because of the Legends contracts and all that shit. The rehab program that they do for some of the guys.
Say the wrong one first.
Huh? Do you know why a lot of boys, especially ECW, didn't get hired if they had to do a tryout in the late 90s or 2000s? If you couldn't get down on the mat and chain wrestle.
It's interesting.
They would surprise you at the tryout with chain wrestling, and even if you could do it, you'd be out of breath. Then they would tell you that it's it, and they wouldn't hire you. Everybody. What I meant was
Basically saying they were blown up.
Yeah, said they would blow them up.
Yep. And if you could survive the blowing up, you got hired.
Yep.
But that's the thing. Like ECW was, Paul Heyman said himself. He took all the guys that nobody wanted. This guy was too fucking violent, or this guy was too fat, or this guy was too this or too that. And he made a company out of it.
All he did was give him a chance.
And that's the thing. Like he made people like Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten and all these other guys. But you know who? He didn't have to make Sabu. Sabu was already made.
And that's why I just asked you. Do you think it's time that we have a retirement program for former wrestlers? Now, I think it'd be a pool, and let's just put it like this. It would come out of your own salary. You know how all these sports have deferred money now?
Yeah.
Let's set up a deferred money thing to where when you retire from this, you will have this money down the road.
Well, this goes back to the constant talk about, are they independent contractors? Or are they not? And I think, damn it, you're employees, motherfucker. You're an employee. Yeah. You're legally wrestling for a fucking company. So if I look, I have to take a portion out of my shit every fucking paycheck for retirement. It goes to a 401k. It's just what it is. Shut the fuck up. I see you with that fucking face over there, Boston.
Well, what I mean is, so let me just put it out there. I think it's a long time professional wrestling became unionized. Just to where
you don't even have to fucking do that.
Well, no, so or find a way to pay into a retirement fund.
I do. I have a 401k.
No, but I'm saying the professional wrestlers world, most of these guys know what they can go to a bank and cash a paycheck.
We're not
talking about 401k.
I know you talk positively about Vince. Vince was out to fucking get every dollar he could in his pocket. He's a fucking billionaire, and all the motherfucker had to do was work it like a real fucking job.
Well, if you work for the company, if you are an employee of the company, you do.
And again, that's what I'm saying. You have wrestlers for a wrestling company, and they don't technically work for the fucking company.
Yeah, they're all independent. Hey, every Major League Baseball player, every hockey, they're all independent contractors, but they're unionized independent contractors. So if you make professional wrestling union, and no matter what company you work for, you're paying dues. You're a dues-paying member. Set it up. You get health insurance. You could still make whatever salary you're going to get because, Major League Baseball and all these guys, they're all these great companies, but nobody gets paid the same. You can still make whatever you want, but set it up like that to where when you retire, you'll get a pension. You'll get benefits and stuff like that. You won't have to go signing deals and stuff like that after you retire saying, hey, now that I'm in a Legends contract, I can get this. I can get this. You can maybe make a good living on these retirement funds. Because hell knows, we're looking at profits right now for professional wrestling that's nobody's seen before. So if you're not going to do it now, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
And
again, Jordan, we talked about it before. What happened to the fucking $20 cheap seats up in the fucking and the nosebleeds?
They got rid of them.
Family seats, they're gone. So you're gonna sit there and tell me they're fucking charging people out the ass for a fucking ticket. They're making more money than they've ever made. They got more money than fucking Jesus, and they're fucking doing all this shit. And you can't take care of the guys that put you where you're at.
If you had a retirement program, what's the one thing you wouldn't have? 60-year-old guy still wrestling in the ring. You wouldn't have it unless they want. Now you could actually turn to these guys and say, what the hell are you here for? You can retire with a pension. What are you here for? Get out. And that's my thing to where that is. To be able to set it up, I don't think it wouldn't cost Tony Khan a lot of money at all.
Well, again, let's put this out there. You and I had a really good idea, and I think we both came to an agreement that they should pay as part of their contract. if you give me this amount back, we'll cover your fucking medical insurance.
$100,000. $100,000. It was something like that to where you could say, hey, by giving that back, that gives you quality of life to where something happens outside of the business, you're covered.
There's so many ways, in my opinion, that you could help because you're all going to the same spot. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to want to fucking like do this, but give them the option. Hey, we know we're going to this next town. We got a bus. We got a WWE bus. We'll drive your asses to the next town.
Yep.
There are so many ways. Again, look at people like Cody Rhodes, like CM Punk. They invested in their own buses. Well, what happens?
Yeah, Gunther did too, I think.
Well, if you're a guy on the low card and you're just starting out, you're making, like they did back in the day, you're eating rice and tuna fish every fucking meal, and you gotta, you gotta figure it out. It's your first fucking round. Oh, we got a bus. We'll get you over there.
Dan, right now, let me ask you guys a question. Right now, what would be your single A affiliate? We can go single A, double A, triple A. We know who the major leagues are, so that's not a, single A, double A, triple A.
MLW.
What is it? MLW?
MLW.
Double A.
Yeah.
What's double A?
TNA.
So you're saying triple A would be AEW?
I would.
Yeah. I mean, there's still competition.
So I'm saying to you is, so AEW is better than NXT?
No.
AEW, our Ring of Honor, would be better than NXT? Combined. Now, no, those two companies combined, are they better than NXT?
AEW and ROH, no.
Okay, so NXT would be your AAA then. AEW Ring of Honor would be your double A, and TNA MLW would be your single A. If you could approach it like that to where you get into the business, here's where you're starting from. Boom, 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 boom. All four of those levels, you're paying into some kind of a retirement thing, healthcare thing.
You were just on the union fucking block so bad.
It's not being managed by any one of those companies. It would be managed by an independent source.
Like the Cauliflower Club?
I'm just saying to where if you could have the peace of mind, because we know pro wrestlers notoriously
there's so many things. Again, this is something we could probably
they
talk
don't
about
trust
next
anybody
week.
though. They don't trust anybody.
Because again, as much as they try to say we got to work together for the team, it's a solo sport. It's a solo sport, and nobody wants to come out of their pockets for their brethren. Look, I'm a conservative, and so giving money away is not really my bag. I'm sorry, that's not my thing. But if I'm here and I'm making this much money and I'm busted, and these are my brothers and sisters who I make money with, you're damn right. Here, there you go. Here's some more money. Here, let me donate to this. Let me do this. Because I wouldn't be anything without the man next to me or the woman next to me.
Could you imagine what would happen? Let's say somebody like a John Cena.
I think he would too.
Do you?
Because it's a good idea.
Right. Could you imagine if like a John Cena had to raise funds to have some kind of a surgery done?
Oh, that'll never happen.
Hair transplant?
No.
Hair transplant.
I'm just saying to you, somebody with that kind of a stature. Because listen, guys, as much as we want to joke around with it, how close is Ric Flair to being there?
Yeah. Well,
Ric Flair is hold on. Ric Flair is the Keith Richards of fucking wrestling. He's not. No.
I think Ric Flair just has like money like buried like in in mountains and shit. He has like actual like buried into the ground and shit. He's weird like that.
He had the map from Chunk. I mean, no, not Chunk. Yeah, the kid from Stand By Me there.
Yeah.
Vern. He has Vern's map. Just looking for his petty jar.
It's just like the fact that again, like Sabu even needs to have like money raised for his funeral expenses, and a lot of I think Terry Funk did. I think Terry Funk did too, right? And it's just like, it's just unfortunate, and there really should be something for the older guard in wrestling, and there really isn't.
And that's why I ask you. So when we go back to the women, do women have shorter careers because they got to come in, get their money, they get out before while they can still do stuff in their careers because they might want to go do something little, but hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat the hell out of
I'm going to pose a different question to you. Is the style of women's wrestling caused that too? Because you have Natalia, who's a great technician. Let's say it's not no bones about it. Natalia in ring was a great technician. She wasn't a high flyer. She wasn't any of this. I can see how her stuff could have got bland. But then you got someone like Asuka, who legitimately does high flying. Io Shirai, Io Sky, fucking Kairi Sane, all high flyers, and they love watching them. But their style, and Rhea Ripley, who's a brute, who brutalized her, their styles are a little more hard-hitting, a little more taxing on their body. And is it because of their styles they get over? Because Natalia has been wrestling since fucking Gerard was fucking in diapers. And yeah.
I'm older than her.
Calm down.
So she was in diapers when I was.
She's been wrestling for years, and she can't seem to get over. And they've forgotten about her, and they put her everywhere on the card.
Let me ask you this, Dan: is the heart name done?
No. We just need another heart. We need a heart transplant.
Maybe we just need.
We need Teddy Hart back.
Oh,
Maybe, no, I'm not. But I'm asking.
I'm done. After here, no, I'm done. No, Teddy Hart, we're done. You brought up Teddy Hart. Shut it down. No, we're done. The show's canceled. They're gonna they're gonna boot us up. I'm gonna change my name.
For what?
I'm going to Mexico. Fuck that shit. No, fucking
Why?
Teddy Hart, the master of the moonsault. Fuck that.
He is the master of the moonsault.
Well, so you had the moonsault guy.
He's the Cat King too.
So you had the moonsault guy. You had the figure 4 leg lock guy. You had the buckle bomb guy. Wait a minute.
What about Superhuman? Where's he at? Bro, the Juggalos and Juggalettes. Love that guy.
What I'm just saying is the fact of the women. Are they looking for that short-term career, long, big contract, short-term career, get in, get out, or the investing part of it? Because when you hear some of their stories, like I'll put it like this, one of them right now. Let's look at somebody like Sol Roca. She looks like she's invested for the long term.
Yeah.
I'm invested for the long term.
Okay.
Hold on. You know what I'm talking about? Where you go on with that? That's a girl that I can literally that perfect. You hear what Jacob said?
Mm-hmm.
Do it again, Jacob.
No, Sol Ruka rules. I mean,
Jacob is invested in her, and what was the first reason?
Looks.
I was invested, and it wasn't because of her look. What got me with Sol Ruka was that fucking soul snatcher finisher.
That too. That is.
First, that's our first. I'm like, who the hell is this girl in this ring? The way she's flying around.
I fell in love with that character. Had nothing to do with an ass. Thank you very much.
She don't have one?
Not really.
She doesn't really have one that much.
No, she got the surfer look. She has that surfer look.
Yes, she does.
But again,
we got to change it from Jacob's Gordon to this.
I do that all the time. I do that all the time, and my mom gets so pissed. She's always like, "Why the fuck do you have to do that every time there's a hot woman on the screen?" And so I'm just like, "What?"
Well, speaking of the hot women, though, Jacob, will you be able to find that where you're moving to?
Yes, it depends, though. Depends.
No, not. So you're going to tell me they're going to be wearing Depends?
Depends. Yeah.
Oh.
No. No. Yeah. Well, in Alaska,
Jacob's going to be amongst the indigenous peoples.
But
yeah,
you know what that means,
in Alaska, there's a wide range of people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Might be.
What I was saying a second ago before I got and fucking Gerard talking about Alaska.
Yeah.
So Ruka just got over on her fucking talent. It had nothing to do with I didn't even know. Like, you could tell her gimmick's a fucking surfer gimmick. It is whatever. I can give two shits about her gimmick. The girl can fucking wrestle.
Yep.
Now, contrary to her partner Zarya, who was fucking Delta somewhere else, but Zarya, she's all gimmick. She's got power, whatever, but she's all gimmick to me. I went, oh, she looks interesting. Let me take a look. There's talent coming down the pipe that we have not seen yet, and that y'all haven't seen yet, that are going to blow motherfuckers out the water. You know the match I'm waiting for? WrestleMania probably 43, Rhea Ripley, Zarya for the fucking women's world heavyweight title.
Battle of the Australians.
Again, we're coming close to that fucking ending point.
Well, hey, listen. We could be looking at Mariah May coming in soon. We could, there's other. I honestly believe after All In, you're going to see.
Hold on, Jake. I know what Jacob's thinking. I want to be all in hurt. That's what Jacob was thinking. I see his face.
I'm thinking you're going to see a big change between SummerSlam and All In. And I think that change is going to be a lot more people going to start jumping ship for the simple fact they might hang around for one company just to get that big paycheck for All In.
Well, I think WWE is showing that they can do it with the women.
And I think the women.
And if you have never seen, again, for those of you watching this who are wrestling fans and you haven't seen there's a video on YouTube. I think it's in AEW's YouTube channel. The complete history. Mariah May versus Toni Storm. What a story that fucking was. And I'm not a big fan of these fucking hold on, put that up for Jacob. I am not a fan of the fucking bloody matches. I think the blood should be saved for moments like
dope. Yeah.
He's been smoking, right?
Yeah, no, that all my posters in my room are great to look at when you're under the influence. Just saying.
The Marks Podcast is not condoning the use of marijuana. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 7 pygmies down there in New Guinea. Amen.
What I'm saying is, if you haven't seen it, because I'm not a big fan, I think blood should be saved for something special. Fuck you, John Moxley. I don't know.
Or when Swerve drinks it from Hangman, or when Hangman drinks it from Swerve.
Let it go.
Yeah. Hepatitis.
That was a blood feud.
Well,
you get hepatitis.
What I was going to say is, before we get going, is the fact of the women in AEW. I think they're coming up to their contracts. They're going to start jumping ship more because, in fact, they can't stand that one woman who just wants to think it's all about her instead of working together as a team.
Did she beat? I haven't watched, but didn't she beat Athena?
I think so. I don't care, dude. It's just like.
Willow
Nightingale re-signed with AEW.
Before we get run out of time here, next weekend we have an extremely busy weekend in the world of professional wrestling.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Bed Bath and Beyond with the wife.
Bed Bath and Beyond. I thought they were out of business.
Another nap. I think we're having tacos that day. What's going on? What's going on?
So you got Friday Night SmackDown and TNA pay-per-view. You got Saturday's main event. You got AEW has a pay-per-view. You got Battleground. Oh, you got Monday Night Raw all next weekend.
Jacob, notice how I said Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw. Well, we got, I'm looking forward to Battleground. We got Oba Femi against Miles Bourne. And, the crowd's going to be going mild, and, Miles can't hear it, and it's going to be great.
Jesus.
Wait, hold on. He's going
to win the title, a big celebration. He's not going to hear the applause. It's going to be awesome.
Wait, we got the childhood hero versus, we have R-Truth versus John Cena next weekend.
Yeah, non-title too.
To where, is that going to be a mirror match? If they can set it up to be a mirror match, I think it would be awesome. I think it would be funny as hell.
The crowd is going to make or break this match, I think. 100%.
Absolutely.
And
people over there, what's up?
You feel me?
Go over there.
Stand up and say what's up.
What's up?
I like his
What's
other
up?
theme song, whatever it was. Get crunk. What was it? It was like time to get crunk.
Get rowdy.
Yeah, get rowdy again. You know.
And
You know,
of course,
I think
before
we just need to
I
bring
would-
back the Funkadactyls.
Before we go,
I know. Bring back Brodus Clay. In
we
general.
need to
Like,
talk
fuck is-
about the greatest in-ring performer that we have going on today. We haven't seen too much of him, but what's next for the one, the only, the fucking most underrated and beloved star internationally?
El Grande Americano.
He's the new speed champion. Not to be confused with Tony Khan's title. You know, El Grande
For
Americano
fuck's sake.
is is now the new WWE speed champion. You know, and it's just it's really inspiring. You know, I wish it wouldn't be that title. I wish it wouldn't. Wait. I wish it wouldn't be that title specifically that he's holding, because he really should be holding a bigger title than that.
I have gotten we're about to go, but I have gotten the wife into Tony Storm. And I think I finally found someone she likes.
The Menage.
We'll see you next week.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
Calling all the grappling fans, from body slams to high flying plans. Join the chat, hear the scoops. Jump in quick, don't be a stoop. We're throwing down in every match with